We're coming to you live from Amsterdam, Netherlands. We are here every day consistently, no matter what, come rain or come shine, no matter where we are, because we believe that a huge part of success is consistency. Even if it's not perfect, you gotta be consistent. Even when it looks like it's failure, it's not. Sometimes when things don't go perfectly, you just have to keep being consistent. And that brings about excellence. Thank you all again for being here. The buzz of the online world, and that burning question remains: is your mindset clear enough for 7 figures and beyond? So I'm going to challenge you today. I want to see if that's actually true. So think back to the start of your entrepreneurial journey, where everything seemed simpler. Do you remember that? Do you remember when you started and everything was much simpler than it is now? Yes, because the truth is that as businesses grow, so do the complexities. They increase, and the external noise grows too. So what is the first thing that you need? What is the first thing that you need when we think about the role of clarity in scaling success? You need to remember why you started. You need to remember why you started, because when times get rough and when clients become more and more demanding, or the situation changes, the market changes, and you change, by the way, you won't stay the same. You have to ask yourself, why did I start? You have to revisit that why as often as you can. Simon Sinek talks about this in his book. And so ask yourself right now, does your current trajectory align with that vision? And if not, you've got to recalibrate. And the other thing to think of when you're scaling success: priority, clarity of priority. So clarity of vision and clarity of priority. That means every opportunity isn't the right opportunity. And so you have to be selective. And being selective doesn't mean you're missing out. Show of thumbs for those that agree and believe that not taking every opportunity doesn't mean you're missing out. In fact, it means you're staying true to what truly matters for your growth. Then when I think about it, what is next? When you're on your entrepreneurial journey and you're hitting that $1 million mark and going beyond, especially when you're going beyond, you need to have a growth mindset. Do you have a growth mindset? Are you willing to pivot and try something new? Or are you like many established entrepreneurs that fall into the trap of a fixed mindset, believing our abilities and our talents are static? That's the way to answer this question, if you have the mindset or not. So I'm going to give you just a moment to think about whether or not you truly embrace your failures or not. Do you see every setup, every setback as a setup for a comeback? Or do you refuse to try something new because you're afraid that you might fail? Those are the ones that thrive. The ones who refuse to see failure as the end of the world. Because I'm going to tell you right now, and Shankar and I were talking about it earlier, how many moguls, how many business moguls do you know with huge brands and huge names who failed several companies before they made it, before they really, really made it? And you will never hear about the people that failed and never got back up. You will never hear them. You'll only hear about how they almost made it, right? But when you think about the ones that did make it, you only know about their failure if they talk about it. But the truth is that when you are making money, you lose money. You lose a lot of money, and you lose friendships, you lose clients, you lose customers. And if I were to stop here, if you were to turn off this audio event right now, it would be disheartening. Because you would see it as the end, but that's not the case. When you have a growth mindset, you understand embracing failures. You understand how to leverage that and not see failure as the end. But you use that as a cornerstone to build bigger and better things, to look at what didn't work, to test everything and use it to your advantage. When I think of Steve Jobs, before he made it, you know, he was kicked out of his own company. What a massive blow to the ego that is. How many of us would have just never, ever tried to get back in and let the bitterness or the disappointment get to us? But when you have a dream and you have a vision and an obsession even, you keep going. And those are the ones that thrive. And so the next point about having a growth mindset, believing in yourself and your abilities and your talents, even when it looks like crazy. Like, you look like a crazy individual, Steve. They kicked you out. They don't want you there. And you're still trying to go back and get into it. Just give it up. Get over it, right? No. I refuse to fail. I refuse to not pivot. I refuse to not learn from this. So the second point to that is continuous learning. As the world is changing, and even with AI, all of these things, we have to have a commitment to stay ahead, to learn, to read. You will not hang with the people on this stage if you are not an avid reader. You will not succeed, as Shanae says. I'm so drowned in books by Shanae and Shankar. I mean, my life consists of reading. And then you're going to ask, well, how do you have time to read, Andrea or Shanae or Shankar, when you're doing all of these things, leading a company, constantly envisioning something, being a visionary? Priority. It comes back to priority, clarity of priority. Continuous learning is a priority of ours. Always remain a student. Read, attend workshops, hire coaches. You have an opportunity to learn more about how to personally brand yourself with Shanae and Shankar up here. Click any of our faces, get involved in that challenge, push yourself outside of your comfort zone, embrace, quote, failure, which, by the way, is oftentimes not even what you think it is. What the story that you tell yourself sometimes is not even true to reality. Do you know what I mean by that? We can look back at something and see it as a terrible failure. Oh my gosh, that video came out so bad. And then you come back to it a day later and you're like, wasn't actually that bad after all. Do you see how much of an instrument to succeed or to fail your mind can be? Are you understanding how much of your success depends on your mindset? depends on how you choose to look at your situation. And that brings me to my next and final point, which is the influence of external environments. So yes, your internal mindset is pivotal, but the external plays a role too. Your circle, for example. How many of you have heard you are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with? By Jim Rohn. You are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. Now that should be concerning or exciting, depending on who your circle is, but that's the truth. Are the people around you pushing you forward, or are they holding you back? Because I can guarantee you when you get to the top of that mountain, you might be by yourself, or you're going to be surrounded by people who pushed you and cheered for you, wanted the same thing, or they were already up there and they're telling you to come on, keep climbing, keep walking. I know the road is rocky and there's things to look out for. You might slip, you might fall. Success is not linear, but the influence of your external environment is really going to determine, is your mindset clear enough for 7 figures and beyond or not? Who's in your circle? Who or what is influencing you? So the last point to my point about the influence of external environments is your online presence. Do you believe it's important to have an online presence? Does that have anything to do with your success? Show of hearts if you agree, yes, your online presence matters. A lot of us out there understand. And for those of you that don't, let me tell you, it's not about vanity. It's not about vanity. In today's digital age, you are either going to make or break your opportunities with your online brand by having people reach out or not. And so what compels people to come to you? How do you expand your influence? How do you say the right things in the right way? How do you have the right audience be impacted by your message? Well, one way to get all of those answers is to align yourself with people who have done it, to get the right people in your circle, the ones that you're spending the most time with, to sign up for programs, to get coaches. You got Shanae up here, you got Shankar, and just get help. Because you clearly need to grow. You need to grow. If you don't grow, you don't change. And if you don't change, getting to 7 figures and beyond will remain a distant dream. But to every visionary listening, it's a tangible reality. So, I hope you understand how much your mindset is the bedrock of your success and how much you have to nurture it. And you do that by reflecting and recalibrating and reigniting your entrepreneurial spirit when things get really bleak. I am the only one apparently who can hear the meditation music I have in the background. But it didn't stop me from coming to you because I believe so strongly, instead of waiting for the right mindset, you need to seize it. Every single day, you gotta have continuous learning experience. You gotta embrace failure. You have to evaluate your circle. Be around people that encourage you to grow because they love you and care for you and have the best in mind for you. And by the way, they're not always nice. I'm not saying to be around people that tear you down. Run away from those people. But people who are truthful, who challenge you, who push you, who don't want you to be held back by yourself, oh, those are the people. That's the influence of your external environment that is going to bring you to where you need to be to get to those 7 figures and remain there. Because remember, as I said, many entrepreneurs have hit that point in their life. They, quote, had success, and then they had a failure and they were not resilient. They couldn't bounce back. They couldn't bounce back. So if you don't learn how to embrace failure, then you will not see it to the end. You will not see your success until the end. Because remember, the race is not given to the swift, but to those who endure until the end. I think I figured this out. Give me a heart if you agree with what I've said so far. All right. And I know that coming back here, I know even joining the challenge, these small steps, your life is a series of your habits, and your habits come from your thoughts, and your thoughts come from the seeds that you plant. And all of that, your thoughts, your habits, your actions, your behavior, your character, your destiny, it's all interrelated. Your mind, if you can keep it clear, you will succeed. This is something we always talk about at the top. On the stage, we are always talking about how can we, and I have been crowned with that responsibility to keep us all alive, to keep us sane. And I'm going to pass it over to Shankar so he can say a few words too. But how do you keep yourself sane?
I mean, Andrea, you are unstoppable this morning. So, I am sitting on a balcony that is right across from the port of Amsterdam right now. And in a minute here, I'm going to explain to you what I'm seeing. But before I will do that, please, dear listeners down in the room, I need you to go to yougrow.club, and Andrea, whatever you are doing right now is...
I unfortunately can't hear you. Just one moment.
Okay, it's okay. The gain of the music is a little bit too loud. But anyway, dear listeners, go to yougrow.club, Y-O-U grow.club, and sign up for our challenge that starts on August 29th. Because during that challenge, you will learn very precisely how to build a strong brand that is going to set you apart. And I'm about to tell you why that is important. So, I'm looking at 2 big ocean liners in front of me. On the left-hand side is an ocean liner called Azamara Journey. Okay, Azamara Journey has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 stories. You look at it and it's probably the average size of one of your high-rises in your city. And then I shift my gaze to the right, and what I see is a massive ocean liner. It's even, I would say it is 4 to 5 times the size of Azamara. It dwarfs the Azamara. And then I look at its name, and it is called Disney Dream. Now, I had no idea Disney had ocean cruisers. Now, if anyone here in the audience has ever been on any Disney cruise ship, please give me a heart right now, because I'm very curious to know, has anyone been on a Disney cruise ship? It doesn't look like it. Oh, I see 2. I see Rodrigo and Imran. Okay, nice. Well, guess what happened next? I go and I'm like super curious about the Disney cruise ship. I have completely forgotten about the Azamara. The Disney Dream. What is this about? It has the Mickey Mouse on the chimneys. It has a bright yellow anchor with bright yellow rescue boats. And it's just like this cruise ship was taken out of one of those vintage comic movies and put on the river here. Now the next thing I do is I'm going to the website Disney Cruises, because now I'm super curious what this is all about. And it says, of course, what was to be expected. It's a great time for children, it's a great time for teenagers, for tweens, it's for the entire family, so it works with the brand of Disney. And the only reason why I've completely forgot about the Azamara is because of that strong brand that Disney has that gets people into amusement parks, that gets people into movie theaters, that gets people even on cruise ships. And it is a very, very strong brand strategy that is behind of all of that. And I need all of you, if you want to get from 6 figures to 7 figures, I need to become like the Disney brand here. I need you to make me forget about the Azamara. And that, my dear friends, is precisely what you will learn from someone who masters that. Shanae Moret here on stage, a quick glance at her profile lets you know she knows how to build brand on this powerful platform where the best business owners, entrepreneurs, CEOs, professionals in the world all gather together. And you can learn in this challenge next week. If you only give us half an hour every day, you will know exactly what to do every day during 4 days, and you will be able to grow your brand in just a week beyond limits that you would never have seen possible. All you need to do is click my face or Shanae's face and then use the link in the profile to participate in the challenge. Thank you very much, Andrea.
Thank you, Shankar. So, do you know Alex Hormozi has 500,000 people attending a webinar of his? That means if 10% buy a $1,000 offer, that's $50 million in one day. So brand is not a joke. How many of you know brand is not a joke? Yes, awesome. So it looks like I am finally coming in crystal clear with the music, and it is past, so I'll respect your time. But if you come back here tomorrow, 7 a.m. Central Time, same time, we will be here to continue this conversation, and we'll close you out with a sound bath. Thank you so much for attending. Don't forget to click our faces. Don't forget to follow us so we can keep you updated. Hope this was useful and helpful. Your mind has all the power that you let it have. So stay mindful, and we'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.